Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos. Welcome back to the channel and to another feature video. Last time out we looked at the history of Dale Coyne Racing, so if you haven't already, check that one out. Remember, if there is a driver, team or topic you'd like us to look at in the future, comment below.
But today we look at new Dale Coyne driver and recent mover from F1, Romain Grosjean. Now we have a special guest to help us look into his F1 career, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now it's time to ask, who is Romain Grosjean?
Romain was born on the 17th of April 1986 and is from Geneva in Switzerland. He has a Swiss father and a French mother, and it is the French flag he has adopted to represent during his racing career. Grosjean began his karting career in 2000, and in 2001 he would win the French Championship ICA. He would compete in karting in both 2002 and 2003, but would achieve nothing of note in this time. But 2003 is where his single-seater career would begin.
Romain's first single-seater competition was the Formula Lister Junior Championship, and well, I guess he did okay.
I think you're underselling it here, Stephen.
No, he did okay, all right.
Stephen.
Okay, he smashed it and won all 10 rounds of the championship and won his first of what would be a fair few junior titles. In 2004, he would move to French Formula Renault and also competed in the Formula Renault Euro Cup. He had a reasonable start in French Formula Renault, securing one win on his way to 7th in the championship. The following year, he competed in both competitions again, racking up 2 podiums in the Valencia round in the Formula Renault Euro Cup. In the French Formula Renault Championship, he would smash the title. From round 5 of the championship at Pau, he would win every race bar 2, which was a disqualification in round 9 and a second place in the last race of the year. Things were certainly starting to click in place for Romain, as off the back of this impressive performance, he was awarded a place in the Renault Driver Development Programme, where he would remain for the rest of his junior career.
At the back end of 2005, Grosjean would also compete in the Macau GP, where he would fill in for Loic Duval and finish 9th. But the next major step for Romain was stepping into F3 for the 06 season with the Signature Plus team. He would have a steady year, finishing 13th in the championship, though performances of note would come in the British F3 Championship, where he would win both rounds at Pau as a guest entry. The following season he remained in the series but moved to the ASM team, who had won the previous 3 titles with Jamie Green, Lewis Hamilton and Paul di Resta. So they had pretty good pedigree as a team. Romain would not disappoint, as his second season success would repeat itself, as he would claim the 2007 title ahead of the likes of Sebastian Buemi, Nico Hülkenberg and Kamui Kobayashi, with 6 wins and 12 podium finishes.
Grosjean followed the traditional path up after his success and moved to GP2 with French team ART, and would also compete in the inaugural season of the GP2 Asia Series. He had a successful season with the team in both series, finishing 4th in the GP2 Championship and winning the GP2 Asia Series. After his successful first year, ART decided to go with Nico Hülkenberg and Pastor Maldonado for the 09 season, leaving Grosjean to find a seat elsewhere. With the Barwar Addex team, he racked up 2 wins and 3 poles in his 12 races for the team before being called up to the Renault F1 team for the remainder of the 2009 season, but more on that later. 2010 would see Grosjean return part-time to the GP2 series with Dams, the other successful French team in the series. He would finish 14th that season despite only competing in 8 of the 20 rounds. The following year would be his final in GP2, as he raced the full season with Dams and became champion with 5 wins to his name and a run of 6 consecutive podiums, from the sprint race at Silverstone to the feature race at Spa.
During his break from Formula 1 between 2010 and 2011, he also raced in the FIA GT1 World Championship alongside Thomas Mucht, the pair winning the opening round of the season on their way to 11th in the standings. And he also competed for Dams in the AutoGP Championship, winning the series despite missing the first 2 rounds in Brno and Imola. That, however, rounds off a look at the very impressive junior career of Romain Grosjean. His achievements had beckoned a second chance in F1, and to help us look into this part of his career, we have Dan from Racing Reviews returning to the channel after our debate with him on which series was better. IndyCar or Formula E? Dan is a big Grosjean fan, so it only seems right to bring him back to talk about the Frenchman's F1 career. So take it away, Dan.
Romain Grosjean's Formula 1 career began midway through the 2009 season, replacing Nelson Piquet Jr. at Renault after the Crashgate scandal of 2008. It's safe to say the 2009 Renault wasn't the quickest car on the grid, and to make things just a little bit more tricky for Romain, his teammate for that first season, Fernando Alonso. No points in the remainder of the year saw Romain miss out on a seat for the 2010 and 2011 season, but after returning to GP2, winning the title for 2012, Romain was back. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. 10 podiums in his first 2 years with Lotus was also partnered with that infamous 2012 race ban. A difficult start to the season with several lap 1 and in-race incidents and crashes was brought to a crescendo at the 2012 Belgian Grand Prix. Lap 1 contact with Lewis Hamilton, one of the biggest crashes for years in Formula 1, saw Romain miss out on the Italian Grand Prix a week later, but would return to complete the rest of the 2012 season with a point to prove. And as we moved into 2013, Romain was preparing for the biggest year in his Formula 1 career. Once again, partnering Kimi Räikkönen for the 2013 season, Romain came into his own, especially in the latter stages of the year. Sebastian Vettel, untouchable. The longest winning streak of any driver in Formula 1 history. The only man that could get close to him was Romain Grosjean, with both the Japanese and US Grand Prix being standout events where Romain was so close to that first victory in his Formula 1 career, but couldn't quite get over the line. 2013 ended, Räikkönen left, Romain was now the team leader of Lotus. But 2014 is where things got bad. A terrible car. A terrible car saw Lotus plummet down the constructors' standings, with wins and podiums in 2013 to only 3 points finishes across the board for Lotus in 2014, and things were only set to get worse in 2015. A slightly better car, a Mercedes engine, and Romain's final podium in his Formula 1 career coming at the 2015 Belgian Grand Prix, a stellar race from the Frenchman, proving he still had what it took to be a top driver in Formula 1. But from a team perspective, matters only got worse. At the Belgian Grand Prix, the very same race as Romain and the team's last ever podium in Formula 1, the team went bankrupt, into receivership, and would ultimately leave at the end of the 2015 season. This left a pretty big crossroad in the career of Romain Grosjean. Did he stay with the team that were buying out Lotus? Renault, the French manufacturer, making a triumphant return, trying to go back to the 2005 and 2006 glory days? Or take a gamble and join the new team, Haas F1, America's newest and supposedly greatest Formula 1 team? Was this an opportunity too good to miss? Renault or Haas? Grosjean went with the latter, joining the American squad for the remainder of his Formula 1 career. 5 seasons, 2016 through to 2020, several points finishes, a best finish of 4th place at the 2018 Austrian Grand Prix, but never quite achieving that podium, with Haas producing cars that on their day could fight with the very best in the midfield, but for the most part struggled at the back of the grid. Romain was the shining light of the team in 2016 and 17, but with Kevin Magnussen coming into his own in 2018, questions were starting to be asked about Romain's talent. The Rich Energy saga in 2019 certainly didn't help tensions within the team, with Romain and Kevin running into each other on 3 occasions during that very season. But 2020, the last year for both drivers at Haas F1, the last season in Romain's Formula 1 career, was perhaps the worst yet. the team only scoring on 2 occasions over the course of the year, once for Magnussen at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Romain's final points coming at the German Eifel Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. An incredible race from the back of the grid to 9th place at the checkered flag. An incredible day for the team, but you can't help but feel that potential we saw at Lotus was never quite materialised at Haas. However, the speed is still there. That racing instinct is certainly in Romain Grosjean's blood. He wants to win. He wants to compete. What can Romain do in IndyCar? We're just going to have to wait and see.
See we shall, as on the 3rd of February this year, it was announced that Romain Grosjean will race for Dale Coyne in partnership with Rick Ware Racing in the number 51 car on road and street courses. Not a full season, but as he dips his toes into the series, you can't blame the man for sticking with what he knows, as the high-speed nature of ovals is an unknown to him, and he isn't the spring chicken he once was. But he hasn't ruled it out completely for the future, and we can definitely get a good taste of how an IndyCar career for Romain Grosjean may go over the course of this 2021 season. One of his main reasons for not competing in the ovals, that Grosjean is a family man, and after his horrific accident at the end of the 2020 Formula 1 season at Bahrain, it's no surprise his family was at the front of his thoughts. Which leads us on nicely to the section where we get to know Romain the person a bit more.
Well, like you said, Stephen, Grosjean is a family man, and that is a big part of his life. Him and his wife Marion even co-authored a cookbook. They share 3 children together with 2 sons, Sasha and Simon, and their youngest, a daughter named Camille. Despite having fans be negative to him on social media, Grosjean is always a driver who tries to interact with the fans on the platform, and even has a YouTube channel where he regularly posts content, while also founding the R8G esports team to build a presence in the virtual world. Grosjean has always come across as one of the nice guys in racing, and his personality is definitely one that will suit the IndyCar paddock well, and will have some compatriots in Simon Pagenaud and Sebastian Bourdais to help him settle into the series.
Romain Grosjean had a mixed Formula 1 career, and definitely a driver who experienced the highs and lows of the series. A driver who gained an unfair reputation of being crash happy and dangerous. Certainly a driver who made mistakes, and Spa 2012 is definitely an incident that seems to have defined his career, but also a driver who showed immense potential when he had a competitive car under him. Within IndyCar, he will have that again. Although Dale Coyne aren't the biggest team in the series, they are certainly one of the most experienced, and have shown over the last few years with the right driver they can compete for wins and podiums. And that's all a driver like Grosjean wants at this stage of his career, a chance to show what he's got, and that on his day he can compete with the best.
But that's it for today's video, guys. We hope you've enjoyed this look into Romain's career, a chance to reignite his motorsport ambitions, but also a big opportunity for IndyCar to grow its fan base, as it's probably the biggest name to commit to the series from F1 since Juan Pablo Montoya, and he also strengthens an already incredibly talented field of drivers that has Indy fans impatiently waiting for what will no doubt be a great season. So if you're new around here and haven't done so already and like what we do, what can they do, Stephen?
They can like, subscribe and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing!